Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. It's August 19th. So today we're going to be talking about the tropics. The tropics are getting very active. So please consider subscribing and leave a like if you can. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe. I'd like to hit 220 by the end of August. That's only 2 more subscribers. So I think it's going to be pretty easy. So sorry this video is coming out pretty late. We're still going to be having a video out tomorrow afternoon or Thursday. So most of you guys are going to be seeing this on Thursday. But we'll have another video on Thursday. So let's get talking here. This is Hurricane Genevieve right now. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry, but I hear most people call it Genevieve. And that's how I think it should be called, but yeah. This is Hurricane Genevieve. It is an 85-mile-per-hour storm right now. You can see it right there, 85 miles per hour, minimum central pressure of 979 millibars. We can see it's decently organized. It's definitely pretty symmetric. If we play the infrared out, it had an eye earlier. Now it has weakened a little bit since it around 4 to 7 p.m. earlier. It has weakened a little bit. We can see it used to have an eye. But right there. But as it's progressed, moving northward, it's lost that eye a little bit, and it's starting to weaken a little bit. But it's definitely still interesting. It's definitely still pretty strong. You can still kind of see the eye right there. Kind of right in there is where we're looking at the eye. You can see strong bands hitting areas of Mexico right now. So that is interesting for sure. Now this is the National Hurricane Center. You can see Genevieve right there. This is their cone. Let's get that to load real quick. It's taking a second. So this is their cone from the National Hurricane Center. They have it predicted to be a hurricane throughout tomorrow afternoon, and then it'll forecast it to die off into a tropical storm until Saturday morning. You can see tropical storm force winds are in Mexico right now, are in some areas of Mexico. Right there, hurricane warnings in the red shades right there on the islands, or on the, not really the islands, but the coast. So that's Genevieve. That's what's going on in the Pacific. Now, that's the Pacific. Now, we're going to be talking about the Atlantic most of this video. So the Atlantic is starting to get active. We have several areas. We have one that has an 80% chance of forming in the next 5 days and a 70% chance of forming in the next 48 hours. Right there. We have newly formed Tropical Depression 13. As of 11 p.m., that was 30 minutes ago. It got upgraded to a tropical depression. And we have the 40% chance of formation off of Africa. This system is still on Africa. It hasn't moved off of Africa, but the National Hurricane Center is giving it a 40% chance. So we're going to be talking about that. Now that is a little bit far out to talk about potential landfalls on America, or what that could do. But we can kind of get an idea on if it could, what it's supposed to do. Let's click on Tropical Depression 13. That's going to be kind of a big deal this video. It's forecast to become a storm by tomorrow afternoon and be a storm all the way until around 8 p.m. Monday at least. That's 5 days out, and then it has it going kind of over Florida. If we turn on the track on it, has it hitting Florida, pretty much going right to the south of Miami. So that could be a major threat to Florida. Areas of Florida are already under a 20 to 30% chance of tropical storm force winds. Right now, the National Hurricane Center thinks it's going to go to the north of Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, but they will still see some effects, and it's going to hit the Bahamas pretty hard. But there's a lot of uncertainty with this, if it's going to become a hurricane or not. We'll talk about that when we look at the models now. These are the tracks from several different hurricane models here. But you can see most of the tracks have this system hitting South Florida, which that kind of worries me, because areas of South Florida are definitely pretty prone to flooding. Has it hitting South Florida and curving up, kind of like this. And so what I can get out of this is it could do something like this. So that could be the kind of like the cone. Not like that, drew that wrong way. This could be the cone. and further and tracks out this way are still possible. This could do what Isaias did and just go along the coast, just closer to the coast, kind of like more like that. Or it could just do what Isaias did, and it could hit North Carolina, or it could just keep riding the coast for a while, kind of like Dorian. I'm not saying this is going to be as strong as Dorian, but it could take a similar track. Although it's not starting in Puerto Rico, or not really, it's not going to hit Puerto Rico as of right now. Every single hurricane model has it going to the north of Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, so that's good. Now these are our ocean temperatures right now. You can see we have 30-degree temperatures pretty much for the whole Gulf of Mexico. So in our area, our tropical system's forecasted to track through. I'll draw that for you guys with blue pen. It's forecasted to go in this area right now. You can see definitely warm waters. So that's not going to be limiting anything. The water temperatures are really good for tropical development. Now, let's start looking at the models. So first of all, let's look at the Canadian model, because this is kind of worries me. So this is right now pretty much. You can see our tropical depression and our first system and our third system in Africa right there. All three systems lined up. We have a little disturbance in the southeast too, which we're going to be talking about a little bit at the end of the video, because why not? So the Canadian model, this is tomorrow afternoon. It has our second system forming into a tropical storm by around Friday morning, especially Friday afternoon, when it starts to get going. It has our first system, 97 now I think it is, barely making tropical storm strength, just maybe hitting tropical storm force strength, and then hitting Cancun, and it kind of dissipates. And then it could re-strengthen and potentially hit Texas or northern Mexico. So that we're gonna have to see where that is, but I'm pretty positive the track of that system is probably going to be kind of like this, with maybe uncertainty on where it actually makes landfall if it does. Now the second system, this Canadian model is going kind of crazy on it. By Saturday afternoon it has maybe even being a hurricane. Sunday afternoon definitely being a hurricane according to the Canadian model. Then it has it smashing Miami as a Category 1, maybe even a low-end Cat 2. And it has maybe keeping its strength in the Gulf and hitting Alabama, and curving up around as remnants and bringing a lot of probably flooding rain in this area here with the remnants. And you can kind of tell we're getting closer to fall here. We are seeing a lot of more strong systems further to the south. Just a little update on that. We go out to the last day of August at the Canadian model. We have a strong system hitting Greenland. And that's going to go over towards Europe. In some areas, it's even getting cold enough to snow. So we're going to have to see about that. The 540 line is going further south, which is the freezing line. And the average temperature in the atmosphere is freezing. But you see, the Canadian model doesn't really have our third system doing all that much. So that's good. Now, the strength or the intensity of our second system, our first system, I'm pretty positive. I'm giving it about a 40% chance of actually forming into a tropical storm. But the second system, it's a lot more uncertain. If the Canadian model's right, this could be a big thing. But I wouldn't say, I don't know if the Canadian model is going to be right, though. It hasn't done that good with tropical systems lately. When we look at the GFS model, the GFS model, this is what I'm talking about. The GFS model barely has this thing doing anything. So if we go out here, we can see it right there. It doesn't even really form into a tropical storm. It just kind of disappears, like this. It goes like this and disappears. So that's not really, that's model uncertainty right there. The GFS Paris is kind of an operational model, so I wouldn't really trust this fully yet. But it wouldn't hurt to look at it for sure. Alright, so this is also kind of showing us something here. So this is our, that's our first system right there. It hits Cancun and it strengthens to like a Category 2 hurricane and hits Louisiana. I think that's really uncertain, but it's not out of the question. But I'm giving that like I'm pretty positive it's not going to do that. But our second system, on the other hand, it actually has it hitting Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, which could limit how strong it actually is. It has the first system being stronger than the second system, and it has our third system being sucked up into a high pressure system and staying in the Atlantic. Our third system, which is the one over Africa right now. So kind of confusing, but yeah, let's look at another model. Let's look at actually the HWRF4. Actually, I don't think it's not there. All right. Let's look at the GFS pair. Will this show us what I want? Wait. All right, wait. So this is the GEFS pair model here. It has some stronger. It has that storm. Definitely, their second system definitely being stronger right there. I'm not gonna look at that a whole lot though. Let's look at the GEFS. That's a little bit more trusty. Let's try to find MSLP here so we can see what we could be looking at. There's our first system, barely being a tropical storm, dissipating. And here's our second system, pretty much being a tropical storm and then dying for a little bit. So the uncertainty's there. The second system could become a hurricane. About a 30% chance it could be like the Canadian model said. I don't think it's going to be that strong. I think the Canadian model is definitely overdoing it, but I think it could maybe go under intensification, rapid intensification, maybe as it gets into the Gulf, if it does do that. Or it could do a Dorian, like I said, and just ride the East Coast. If it does, then I'm going to be I'm not going to be sad. That means less people will be affected. It seems like every tropical system is doing that. It has several more waves coming off of Africa. Our third one doesn't really do much according to the GEFS model. But yeah, switch topics to severe weather. This is our severe weather outlook from the SPC for tomorrow. We have a large marginal risk in the high plains, in areas of the plains like South Dakota and Nebraska. A marginal risk for northern Minnesota, and a very large marginal risk for the whole southeast. Right there. Wind threat, 5%, hail threat, and there's 2 5%. Now, we're not going to be talking about severe weather like at all. We're just going to be talking about the southeast, because why not? And so, yeah, we can see in the southeast, pretty much just kind of a summertime pattern. But what we're going to be seeing is we're going to have a storm system coming in with a stationary front, kind of like that, in a cold front. It's not even going to bring cooler temperatures, really. It's just going to bring a little bit drier air. So we're going to have increased thunderstorm activity and coverage, and maybe some stronger storms too. And so yeah, let's look at the dew points for tomorrow. Probably pretty, widespread, around 70-degree dew points in most areas. That's not bad. That's normal for the southeast this time of year. Cape, let's take a look at that. Seems like the highest Cape tomorrow is across areas of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. And Florida. To wrap up this video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing, and I'll be back tomorrow. But yes, peace out.